we were the anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid. My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person. He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around there. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist, and it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Plumegate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Plumegate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen.
Good morning, all you and your dogma snuggies. I'm hoping you're calling out, especially in San Francisco. Boy, have you guys snuggied up the last 2 decades. I remember when you guys didn't even know what a blanket was. Boy, you're so snuggied up in your real estate value. Woo-hoo! I make $20 an hour and living like horror because I can't afford a rent. Ooh, look, there goes the Google bus. Yay, Google, go Google. Go Apple. Yay, yay. We love slave owners in China. Go Google. Can I get on the Google bus? Yeah, go get on the Google bus there in San Francisco. Go ahead and jump on. You know, kind of like they said, get on the boxcar in Germany in 1939, 1940. Go ahead, climb aboard the boxcar. Come on, take a shower. You'll be fine. These real estate values will never go down. We have a new Fed chair from Eugenics U, Cal Berkeley. Yay! The mass murder university of corporate, they're beyond corporate. Fascism U, University of Cal Berkeley. Teller. Oh, I thought Teller went to Stanford. Got hijacked. I'll tell you how grotesque the area has become. This is how grotesque and sickening and disgusting University of Cal Berkeley has become. They're the thumbprint for everything wrong. They are the nuclear cartel. They're the war machine. Really? Berkeley? I thought they protested in there. No, if they do, they spray you with mace, and the cop that sprays your mace, they give the cop a check. They did that. That's a fact. The cop who sprayed those people at Occupy across the face, they sued. Each one of those baby wolves, I think, got $30,000. The cop said it made him distraught, and he got $32,000. Now you think about that. Who's the new president of Cal Berkeley? Who's the new dean? Type it in. Google it. Eugenics U. They're running the show of Fukushima. The show is being run out of there, and it's a show. Do not kid yourself. Christina Radchick says it. I think it is the thumbprint line of this entire fight. She coined it. The only thing controlled about Fukushima is us. It's brilliant. It's eloquent. It's perfect. It's kind of like the Battle for Chernobyl. You watch that documentary, and Allah says, 2006, that documentary is a powerhouse, by the way. That'll lead me into what I want to talk about a lot today. I want to talk about Femin, Pussy Riot, Chernobyl, Russia, and the United States is really their brotherhood as they mass murder each other. Not each other. they're populous. I mean, we are so indoctrinated with flags and borders and lines, and they just laugh all the way, fake, 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 all the way to the bank. It's sickening what's going on. It's disturbing. As I went to Livermore on day 1,000, Livermore Lab, and, did my Tim Shale Valmaeus, in honor of Steinbeck. Could you imagine Steinbeck today if he was alive? With this freaking plot? As Alice said in the Battle of Chernobyl, the only thing that was the worst thing to come out of that meltdown reactor was not plutonium, was not cesium, it was lies. It set the playbook. Now, it's kind of like you're in a relationship. Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, business partner, whatever. Any kind of relationship you have that really is the foundation of your life, whether it be your business, your marriage, your bond between each other, your trust between each other. I mean, it really isn't that what it all is. The government tries to create a paper and, so they can control you. I mean, that's what marriage is. Everybody talks about gay marriage. I'm like, shit, why shouldn't the gay population have the right to be as miserable as the rest of us? Go through divorces and have the court system. I'm one of these people. I never have asked a girl to marry me yet to this day. Have I been married? I think. I think I was. I don't know, but I don't believe in the institution as far as the government being involved in that. I mean, it's control. It's kind of like solar panels on your house. We can put solar panels on our house, but the government still won't let you disconnect all of your wires. Why? They're all control mechanisms. It's like the Teabagger revolt. Oh, we're anti-government. We're Jeffersonians, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but war machine, war machine, war machine. They pick and choose their redistribution of wealth. They want to throw the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to, this is a fact. This is a fact. And, I think this is another hallmark and thumbprint of the 3-year Fukushima fight. When Fukushima happened, I went psychotic, skipped out. I was involved with my social movement, post-ignorance. I was, in New York trying to lead it up for the 100th anniversary of the Shear Waste Fire. All about human rights. And I went all in Fukushima because I knew that the top of the heap was nuclear fallout. Now, Martin Luther King knew that. John Kennedy knew that. Rachel Carson knew that. Dwight Eisenhower knew that. We can go on and on and on, these true leaders that we had. These men and women of integrity. Because it is the greatest violation to human rights in world history is Fukushima. 3/11/11. Barna, those guys saw the writing on the wall. As we look back on Fukushima, Congress was in the first ridiculous, the do-nothing Congress, playing hardball with each other, which is ridiculous, pathetic. So they're battling over the freaking debt, the budget, which the budget, the biggest part, the elephant, the herd of elephants in the room in the United States budget that is just annihilating taxpayer is nuclear. The subsidy for nuclear under the Price-Anderson Act, look up the Price-Anderson Act, Congress passed it in 53. And it's made it to the Supreme Court before, but we know what our Supreme Court is. We have 3 branches of government to balance and check each other. But how's it broken? By the theft of the election 2000. Man, it doesn't matter if you get Bush, you don't guard. They're both scumbag, lying weasels, fucking scum. Both of them. But the appointment of Alito and Roberts skewed the court in a lie. It's back to the relationship, the trust. The court is illegitimate. The court is not a court, which it wasn't for 100 and something years before. It's an illegitimate court. Not my words, Justice Breyer's words, William Tribe's words, anybody who knows anything about the Constitution, backdoored. We have the Electoral College to give state rights, and what did the Supreme Court do? Used federalism to backdoor state rights. Alito and Roberts should be so as 5-4, 5-4-4. So that's not a court by definition. It's not a court by definition. It's a dictatorship by definition. It's not even another wing of Congress. It's a dictatorship because they weren't voted in. And they were appointed by an illegitimate president. Not my words. I mean, the facts are the facts. He did not win. He did not win. That's the bottom line. He didn't win the Electoral College. He didn't win the popular vote. And it has nothing to do with red pill, blue pill. It has nothing to do. That's just, the sun comes up. But you're all in your dog and snuggies you can't see, and, you know, San Francisco, is I'll be there the 26th, and what the plan is, when I land there the 26th, we're going to meet up on one of the beaches, the afternoon of the 26th. You know, I'm talking to a lot of the people down there. We'll decide which beach. And my point is this, and people say, oh, your travels, your things, well, it doesn't make it. Yes, it does make a difference. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean shit. There's plenty of people that can see. It's a way for people to synergize. It's a way for artists to get together and bounce things off each other. I mean, the relationships that have been developed, my relationships with a lot of strong, incredible people, but people show up and meet each other who maybe live in the same neighborhood. By the way, Jan Brooks and Christina didn't even know about each other. You know, when they started this Fukushima, they lived 5 miles away from each other. Two of the marquee Fukushima info reporters, fighters. They're very good friends now. I mean, that's happened so many times on my gig. These people can come together, and that's the creative resources there are incredible. That's where we will meet up. We'll have a picnic, maybe down on the beach somewhere. We'll have a little Geiger counter party. We'll put this baby to bed, maybe on Pacific. I don't know. There's lots of little beautiful beaches there. And we'll talk, and we'll get some ideas among each other. This is organic, and this is raw. And the Post-Ignorance Project, my Post-Ignorance, and people don't understand it, but some people understand it. And I understand the people that understand it. It's happening. I mean, yeah, it took 3 years. As you know, we know that movements, they take a long time. But it's happening. I'm starting to see the art that's coming to me and the art that's being created out there. There's a group of Fukushima artists out there that have been born via my YouTube site. It's happening they've showed up to things and they've got turned on. And I got to say this, people that show up to my events, every single one of them, yeah, few, but strong. Oh, I can't believe how powerful and high intellects with strong back. Now, in the early days of Fukushima and my YouTube site and all this reporting, a lot of it was the paranoid schizophrenic. Now, let's be clear about the schizophrenic. Most of them are extremely high IQ people, very high IQ people. And they understood it in very detail. And one thing about my autism as a child and my communication, because I had such a tough time communicating. Schizophrenic people, autistic people, I have very good skills at communicating with them. I know how to do it. I don't just blow them all. This dude's retarded or crazy. Oh, no. I understand that a lot of them are some of the most intelligent people in the world. They really, legitimately, it's incredible. Part of the mind, it's amazing what they can see and read. And so they were there, but they're paranoid. So they're not going to go on camera. They're not going to show up at events. I mean, by definition. But now it's changed. The last 6 months changed. When I was in New York last time, there in September, you couldn't really even bring up Fukushima with people. You know, you couldn't even have a conversation. They looked like you had 3 eyeballs. I think the best thing that I ever did when I agreed to lead the Million Masked Man March down Constitution Avenue, Pennsylvania, John Anthony Fairhurst, Steve Grant, by the way, there are a couple of incredible young men who really did a lot of great work, and that story of ours was so covered up. Our event was gigantic, 140 countries, millions and millions of people, you know, different factions coming together. They didn't know about Fukushima. John Anthony Fairhurst knew. He's smart enough to understand. That's why he invited me to fold it in, because he's up to the same thing that I'm up to. Steve Grant, they're up to the same thing that I'm up to. We're trying to fold all these human rights issues under a tent and unite the clans. That's what post-ignorance is. Post-ignorance, you know, I came up with that before Fukushima. 10-10-10. I correlated it with the 30th anniversary. I struck the last keystroke intentionally on my book and left it in a rough draft for a reason. Struck the last keystroke. I tried to time it at the exact identical moment to the 30th anniversary that John Lennon was killed. By the way, like I said, I'll get into Pussy Riot here in a little bit, and Ben Man, and That's a sad deal what's happened with Pussy Riot. They're done forever now. I can tell you right now, they are done. Were they tricked by Hillary Westinghouse Rodham? I don't know. But the women's conference they're invited to, don't you love this? Here's the women's conference in New York City. Megan Rice, raised on the Upper East Side, the daughter of Madeline Rice, the daughter of Dr. Rice, the protege Martin. She's as New York City gets. I mean, she is New York City. She is the strongest woman probably in the world right now, bar none. I think it's undebatable. A lot of people mention her, and so Hillary gets a photo op with Nadia and Maria and Pussy Riot. Now, I know for a fact that Nadia knows and Maria know the story of Megan Rice because an email that I got through, I'm involved with my girlfriend for years and years and years was one of the early feminine girls. Her and I, that's how I met Megan Rice and Madeline Rice in the Nevada test site, was via her. Hardcore anti-nuclear, beautiful, incredible girl. Amazing, amazing freaking woman. Really amazing woman. I know they know. Why would they possibly take a photograph with Hillary? Now, I know that one photograph, as we try to become the counters to the social engineers, that's what we really are. We're the counter. As I said in front of there, and I used the word Fukushima, so somebody, oh, what about aliens? Because they didn't know. I woke a sleeping giant with Anonymous, with the anarchist kids, with so many different factions that day by that speech, just by people watching and talking, strong-minded people. They didn't know about Fukushima. Oh, they know now. But Mike Lee tried to take a photograph with me. I wouldn't let him. I ran from that fuckhead. One photograph with the wrong, come on. Hillary Westinghouse Clinton. Well, not even Clinton, Rodham. You know, she is the face of the nuclear cartel. Last duty of Secretary of State, stood right, threatened the President in public. That's what's crazy about this, in public. Used the word Westinghouse. Toshiba bought Westinghouse. Why is Westinghouse? How is that possible? Westinghouse retains the board of directors. It's not. She was the parent company. She was gigantic, and I mean gigantic. They're TEPCO. She threatened the president of Czechoslovakia to break the contract with the Russian firms and give them, and she's using the word Westinghouse. Westinghouse is a private company. They're a public company. They're not anything to do with the government. We pay our tax there. So Pussy Riot falls for it. Instead of walking over to Atlantic Avenue like I did in Brooklyn and going over to the prison that Megan Rice is sitting in, instead of doing that, nope, they got a photo op with Hillary. I'm all for those girls going on Good Morning America. Exposure's great doing, but that photo, they're done. Pussy Riot is ruined as a counterculture forever. Or people say they can recover. No, they can't. That photograph, people just shove it in their face forever. They're done. But were they co-opted? CIA? People say, oh, Kevin, you're really lost. You're going to conspiracy line. Really? Tell me this. In 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, you knew Valerie Plame Wilson. Somebody told you, she's CIA. They would have said, oh, you're loony, you're conspiracy, think my nuts, you're crazy. You know, people are CIA in this country you don't even know. I know several of them. I know several of them that work for them, and you'd never know. Now you think about this. Now let's think about this. And Kevin, oh, you're a loony, you're gone, lost your mind. Christina Ganratchik, somebody dug this out and leaked it to us. She's the one that got it to me. I have a lot of incredible stuff that was leaked directly to me from Cal Berkeley. Those fucking murdering, evil eugenics, fucking you scummy fucking bastards that they are, who made the conscious decision to kill my father. Edward Teller. Watch the document, The Hat Life. And by the way, he ran the show clear up into the 80s, that bushy-eyed Hungarian fucker. I'm going to go to his grave. Seriously, I'm going to go to his grave and I'm going to piss on his grave. They knew they were going to kill those Marines. They knew they were going to kill those Marines from Tennessee. They knew it. I have the documentation that proves it. Berkeley made the decision to do it anyway. Human guinea pig them and kill. And they knew that it would probably give lots of their offspring, children, all kinds of autism, cancer. They did it anyway. They don't care. That chick gets an email leaked to her by someone from 60 Minutes. from the CEO, president of CBS, talking about the CIA, the FBI, whoever has been talking to him about the media cover-up of Fukushima, which is very, very real. I call everybody participated black and yellow journalistic course. I've come up with hundreds during this. Black and yellow journalism is mine. Science fiction, economics, all these things, they're mine. The email says this: if you want to cover up Fukushima, you need to do it on 60 Minutes, the best platform to do it. You think about that. Now, did they do it? Yeah, they're doing it now, 3 years later. The photos they used on their little gig, they went over there on number 4, and we proved this. They're not even photographs of number 4. They're lying. They didn't even go in there. Those are photographs, I believe, from Hanford. They're liars. And by the way, the cement fuel pools all over the United States, and this is coming right from the horse's mouth. They dive and they go in there and have to weld holes, and some of the best, underwater divers in the world, that's what they do. They told me, I'm friends with those guys. They said when they go to Japan for years, and they've been in the pools in Fukushima for years. And they said you have to take cases of Crown Royal whiskey, you have to take all that and give them to the mob over there. The mob runs the nuclear cartel over there. As Snowden, when he broke his ranks, he got a platform on 60 Minutes. So to me, is Snowden really this, or is he some type of shill? Now you think about this. He's supposed to be the American counterculturist, when really he's not, because we know who the real American counterculturists were. Aaron Swartz, they murdered him. Michael Hastings, they murdered him. Pat Tillman, the greatest. Pat Tillman was going to blow this thing Hall so fucking far out of the water. He was keeping a journal. He would have been the biggest Hollywood celebrity in history, the most famous man in America. Bar none, beautiful, strong, dynamic, charismatic, stood up to anybody. An executed murder, ordered from the top. And American populace didn't even give a shit, and I can tell you how they didn't give a shit. His mom and dad, his dad, the attorney from Scottsdale, his mother from the Bay Area, they're divorced, both brilliant people. They're the ones that dug this out. His amazing brother, who was there. Why do you think Pat Tillman made his brother go with him? To cover his ass, to watch his back. Still didn't work. She uncovered at the spray bullet thing the congressional hearings his mom and dad were on. Anderson Cooper, 360, Foxconn News, CBS Mornings, Good Morning America. They were on every show, everyone. So there were congressional hearings right there, and they were publicized on every CBS, NBC, ABC, Reuters. It was everywhere. His co-ranger, co-ranger. I mean, I grew up in that family. Make no mistake about this. My father was a Semper Fi Special Forces Marine as they get. Most people that lived out there had even no clue that's what he was. He's incredible. You want to talk Semper Fi? And you want to talk a brotherhood of loyalty? This is a guy on his deathbed refused morphine. This is a guy that didn't talk. These guys are they're so loyal to each other, it would blow your mind. That's why McCain didn't go after Reverend Wright and vice versa. It's a brotherhood. Hardcore, big time. He says in the congressional hearing, the co-ranger, his brother. Not his brother, but his brother. And his brother was there too, and he says, are you kidding me? Accidental? Oh no. That was a cold-blooded murder. Ordered. One day I hope the young man who pulled the trigger, and I'm sure he's under incredible scrutiny and pressure. One day I hope he writes a book, and I hope he becomes a real Snowden. Tells the tale of who ordered him to do that. And we know that's what Michael Hastings was up to. Don't you think it's crazy? Michael Hastings, by the way, was my favorite writer of all time. It almost makes me cry to think about him. I loved that kid. He was brilliant. That article in Rolling Stone, I was so excited about him. It's so brilliant, beautifully. And that's why that's why I do what I do on my YouTube. It's from the heart. It's from his heart. It's from his passion. It's so intimate. It's so compelling. It is such an incredible piece. He was working on another one. This is he got messed up on the dope or whatever. Well, let me tell you something. You're under that kind of pressure? Fuck, I'd be messed up on the dope too. know what kind of pressure that, I mean, you're talking the weight of the world, literally the weight of the world on that young man. The United States military-industrial complex, the Dragon Sled, 1974, the Queen's Army on Balco. This is the biggest fascist military-industrial complex in the history of humanity with incredible technology. You're going to fight that? And he was winning that fight. Oh, look who the new dean and the president of Cal, but really? The war machine even there? I thought they were the anti-war San Francisco. Oh no, they're pro-war. Because the real estate values in their house. He had another article coming out. He was going to expose some serious shit. Now his own family comes out. Why? Because they get talked to. So, Snowden, now you think about it. He's doing photo ops with Putin. The counterculturist from Russia is Pussy Riot, the young girls. They're young. They're naive. No, I don't think they're naive. I think they're ahead of their time. They're doing photo ops with Hillary. Why? They think they're CIA? I think, now this is my opinion, I'm hypothesizing now that Pussy Riot, I'm sure, threatened. Now, they got out of prison because of the Olympic survey, but now they've dropped all these other charges. It's, hey, play ball. Play ball or we'll fucking kill you. Simply. Oh, they would never do that in Russia. What? Really? Are you kidding? Not his own words. I believe that probably the vast majority of the people that are in prison in Russia never did one thing wrong. The gulag is of Putin's, anybody that stands with Putin, they just fucking throw the key away. I mean, look at this fucking monster in the NBA who's fucking the fucking New Jersey Nets. Their Russians have moved in here now. The fucking Russian cabal buying up all our real estate around here. I mean, how do you think they got their wealth? Stole it. I'll tell you how they got it. They stole it. You think, when I was on Wall Street in the 90s, the legendary, famous, incredible finance professor Clyde Koo, who died in my cow, the brilliant genius he was, who I have the last information he ever wrote. You know, he would preach global investment, global investment, global investment. I remember telling him, well, look, Clyde, you know, what happens if these governments are corrupt? And he says, that's the one thing you have to be wary of as far as foreign investment, is the corruptions of governments. You got to realize they don't fall under the laws of the United States. Which ones? Laws of the United States. I mean, that was before we saw them backdoor every law in the United States. The bankers and the cartel and the politicians, as they all got in bed together. What did they do in Russia? And this is, look it up. The biggest hedge fund in the world was in Russia. Foreign investment fund. Guy running it. The market went psycho over there. Oh, we're capitalists now. One day he says, they just show up, arrest him. No charges, no nothing. Throw him in the gulag. He didn't do anything. He's in there for a long time, and the conditions are horrid over there. He gets out, and we're talking many billions of dollars of investors' money. Come on. He's like, what the fuck? Oh, we seized it waiting the court trial. No court trial, no hearing. They just took it. Putin just took it. You know, the guy who owns the Brooklyn Nets, he's part of that. All of them, they just took it. Investors' money. Soup down, the market crashes down to freaking nothing. Took it. That's what they do in Russia. Oh, they do that here too. Oh, they just took it. In 2008, when everything collapsed and crashed, I had some puts and options on the downside. I knew when Merrill Lynch went down, Bear Stearns, I'm like, Merrill Lynch has the same business model. Goldman Sachs has the same business model. Now think about this. They let Merrill Lynch, you're talking an institution, legendary institution. They let them go bankrupt, zero, wiped out. They let Bear Stearns wiped out. So what does it do? The same thing everything's done. It consolidates to the 1%. Oh, Goldman Sachs, they did not even go down. AIG. Oh, AIG's Goldman Sachs. Oh, AIG's who underwrite all your insurance. There's the cartel. They had puts. They were covered. Credit default swaps, and they weren't transparent. Derivatives existed for years. I tried to trade the credit default swaps. I tried. It's like that Creek Paulson, not that Paulson. Alan Paulson, the biggest terror. He robbed billions. You never hear a word from him. And the other the other Paulson, the hedge fund in New York. The only reason he's rich, he's a terrible investor, by the way. Everything you listen to him post, he made one big score because he was friends with a friend who let him get onto the trading platform to short the credit default swaps. There were thousands of us derivative traders who wanted to do that. We thought the housing bubble was market. We knew there would be a huge score in it, but they weren't transparent, which is illegal. It's illegal. But we didn't enforce any of it. Now, why did they bail the banks out? This is why. I worked on Wall Street. I was a consultant for these major funds. I was a derivative arbitrage specialist, so we consult through these. Goldman Sachs has a Millennium Fund, $10 million minimum investment. It is by invitation. Who's invited? Politicians. Of all the senators are powerhouses. Well, it used to be. I mean, Mike Lee, 1.1 million. He's the abstract. He's a piece of shit. Broke off his ass, living in a house, whatever. He do as I say, not as I do. You know, they're rich, and Wall Street made them rich. They hand them jobs. Chelsea Clinton, here, come work at Goldman Sachs. I mean, she hasn't got a clue. They took them in a room. They manage all their money. All their money. I don't mean a little bit of their money. All their money. All of them. The famous story goes, and I don't know if it's true, this is all rumor, that Hillary herself, remember she made her first score in the derivative market on the futures, cattle futures, which she was handed that trade by a corrupt trader in Chicago. I worked on that floor. They says, Hillary, well, how big of a haircut are we going to take on our money? Because they've got all their money. I mean, $10 million, $20 million, $30 million, these senators. And he looks at her, Paulson looks right at her, the ex-CEO of Goldman Sachs, who's running the show, that Fox in charge of the chickens. What do you mean haircut? No, you're going to zero. Don't you understand? We go to zero, you go to zero. All of them. What? All the left, right, Republican, Democrat, whatever. Oh, they're for you, boy. They know one thing. They know they're fucking, what? Oh, sign here. Prove that bill out now. Fucking A, they improved it. Because it was their money. They didn't give a shit about anybody else. That's because they're baby boomers too, just like we. There's very few people that give a damn about the overall society. And when you don't give a damn about the overall society, and you just care about yourself, it is a flawed equation. It never works. Back to nuclear fallout. Doesn't matter where the borders are. Doesn't matter where state lines are. The jet stream, the earth is round. The earth is round. Jet stream doesn't give a shit about no state line. Doesn't give a shit about some fucking court. Doesn't care. Doesn't give a damn where you're at. Doesn't care about race. Doesn't care about color. You know, about cancer. Cancer and all these, I mean, can you believe all these snake oil cells? We have a cure for cancer. Number one, if you had a cure for cancer, not only would you be the most famous person in the history of humanity, you'd be the richest. You'd be richer than the Russian who owns the Nets and walks around with his harem. You don't have a cure for cancer. There is no cure. You know, people die a day. The type of cancer I have, no chance. You know, I've defied the odds so far. It's a battle from hell. It's heartbreaking. I'm head of the support group. I sit with a lot of the people who are dying. It's horrible. It's horrible on so many levels. Not to the person, you know, the families, it's horrible. It destroys lives. I mean, multiple lives, children. I mean, my beautiful, beautiful friend Paul, he got sick. We were boys together, grew up together. We even looked alike together. We dated the same girls. We did everything together. Our paths are so similar. Brilliant. He's in my YouTube site every day. A lot of people that have passed were. Huge, beautiful mind. Brilliant. You know, very Christian person. I'm not so there. You know, very, you know, spiritual in a real way. I mean, he really believed in the hereafter, and he was just a brilliant guy, but he wasn't one of these radicals. Oh, he's very open-minded, very beautiful person, just an incredible guy. You know, he went through the same treatment as me, got sick the same time as me, blah, blah, same thing. Was going along, and boom, came back on him. You know, right when I was down at San Onofre, we were getting that shut down. Well, I was in critical condition, by the way, and I'm the one who organized that event, who freaking cut them off their heels. It was me who packed that house to my YouTube site for the Fukushima. Everybody hundreds and hundreds. Oh my God, Kevin, can I pitch you? You know, that's what turned people off, because YouTube is a powerful genre. It goes right from the mouth into those people's ears immediately. Changes people. Really powerful. And you will never know you changed people. But you did. He calls me. He says, Kevin, you're not going to believe it. It's come back on me. I'm going to die. I got back, and I'll never forget this phone conversation. It's so hard. I could hardly even talk about it. I'm like, hi, Paul, I want to see you. I want to talk to you, you know, and he's talking back and forth. We're really close. I'm going to die, Kevin. He calls. I tried to get a hold of you yesterday, and I sit on the porch of my house, and I watch the mountains where he and I were, where we grew up. We talked for hours. He says, I had diarrhea so bad I'm dying. He says, I'll be dead in 7 days from today. You know, the path that they kill you with, the morphine, you know, blah, blah, it's a hard death. It's a really, really ugly, hard death. He was in incredible physical condition, not overweight, strong, beautiful, did everything right. Not a smoker, not a drinker, just, you know, 2 little girls. You know, 2 families. His first wife, who I was friends with, her tragic death a long time ago. So much tragic death. By the way, Luann, Mick Jagger's girlfriend, who I know personally, her funeral here Saturday. Another one of our little group. We all grew up together. Great artists kill themselves. She was a great artist. We had that conversation, Paul and I. He's like, Kevin, we're all terminal. It was so heartbreaking. That conversation was so heartbreaking. And he spent so much time calming me down. We talked for hours. I'll never forget it. He died 7 days, just like he said he would. Horrible freaking going in and out of the coma. Really just a struggle. His funeral was so spectacular. You know, I used to wear the blue glass, and he was really turned on by the blue glass. He let off with the blue balloons, bagpipes playing. It was surreal in there to me. Sitting in there was so surreal because it was like my funeral. Because it could have just easily been me. It's him. I mean, our lives so similar, so past, the same cancer, the same way I live, he dies. For me to turn my back on this, yeah, I broke up my ass. I go back to Wall Street. I go back to the hedge fund industry. I could do a lot of things right now. I make a lot of money. But it changed me. What changed me? My art, my mind, everything. You know, I'm still the same person fundamentally that I am, but what changed me around the edges was me getting cancer and going through this fight and watching all these people die. Dana, we went into a room with our YouTube cameras as she was dying. She let us do it. Over the whole group of us, a huge group. I'm the only one left standing. Why? I don't know. It's sad because I've watched them fight in a beautiful, incredible way. Why was I spared? I don't know, but I think that life is a test, and, you know, Paul, see you on the other side, Kevin. You know, I cried, he stood strong. My father, I cried, he stood strong. I'm not as strong as him. I have a lot of work to do. You know, is it purification? Yeah. They call it the good fight for a reason. Oh, boy. For me to not continue to fight this, my place in space and time, well, curse and spite that I was ever born to set this right, but I was. And I'm not going to give up until I die. I'm going to stay as the anti-nuclear fighter and the environmentalist for the rest of my life. Will I be the starving artist for the rest of my life? Yeah, most likely. I'll be poor off my ass, bro. I don't care. I have faith. Not faith in, you know, the hereafter. I have faith in other human beings. Even though it's hard to love your enemies. I mean, there's so many people that I have so much hate in my soul, and I'm so mad at them, and I hate, but I know I have to overcome that as a person, and I'm trying every day. I work on it every day. It's hard, my path that I've been through. You know, I love my life, everything just stripped it's heartbreaking to see Pussy Riot. We put our faces stand with Hillary Clinton. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to say Snowden says, oh, I have a nuclear option, and dangling a carrot in front of our face for months and months and months. I have a nuclear option, but I'm never going to release it. I'm just teasing you. I think his nuclear option is nuclear. I think what Snowden has is information through NSA that will prove the cover-up of Fukushima, prove that Cal Berkeley. Now, I fall back to 9/11, 3/11. I'm not going to get into the lead-up, as we know who funded those guys, and those guys did it, and we know who funded them now. The House of Windsor. You know, it goes right back to the Bank of England. You know, too big to John, been widely reported, but again, like Pat Tillman, the American populace doesn't care. They don't care. Why? We could go on for hours about that. You know, they're social engineer fluoride in the water. Everything. You know what? Yeah, that's true. They've done a lot of freaking things to us as they've changed. But no, it didn't work on me. Didn't work on me. Didn't work on a lot of these people that show up to my events. Didn't work on them. That's called leaders. And we will lead. We will lead our way out of this trench in this darkness and have hope. I call it the Post-Ignorance Project for a reason, the opposite of the Manhattan Project. If we took the greatest minds in the world and all these powerhouses together and we had political will, and that is exactly why we are where we are, because of the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project never stopped. Einstein himself said the biggest mistake I ever made was writing that letter to FDR. You know, he was tricked. Einstein himself was tricked by a cult scientist. When he was in Long Island, I told him, this is when Einstein's the most famous man in the world. You don't think Roosevelt's going to listen to him? Oh, yeah, he's listening to him. He told me that Hitler had this thing that was splitting the atom. And if we didn't do it, and Hitler never had that bomb. He never had it. And J. Robert Oppenheimer, who is the biggest patsy in the history of the world, he didn't do it. He was an environmentalist. Teller did it. The military industrialized complex did it. You don't think Eisenhower knew that? That's not a cliche. You don't think John Kennedy was so hardline. And the African American community out there, where are they? Cornell, come on, Cornell. Come on, Cornell. Quit being in hyperbole and start being in detail, fucker. Martin Luther King was hardcore anti-nuclear. Oh, Megan Rice, the protege of Martin Luther King. In a jail cell in New York City, the women's conference. Why didn't they go over there? Why didn't they go over there and visit her? Because they're not human rights activists. None of them. None of them. The control freaks are out of control. It's really that simple. The control freaks are out of control. The control freaks. They tried to control, as Christine says, the only thing got controlled was us. They never had control of Fukushima, never. They've been over there trying. The Livermore Lab there's a reason I went on the 1,000th day on Yellow and Black Friday that I organized, and people went all over the world to nuclear reactors, and we exposed. There are 104 of those things here in the United States. There's 252. The Manhattan Project never stopped. We were so afraid, and the money that got thrown at the Manhattan Project is so gigantic. Did they take advantage of? Oh, hell, those guys lived like royalty. It never stopped. Oak Ridge, Tennessee, never stopped. Carlsbad, never stopped. It's the Manhattan Project gone amok. The only place it did stop was up there in Wendover is an old gray hangar, that big thing. You know, that's the only place that has stopped. By the way, he's a genius out there, the curator out there I'm friends with, Jim. It didn't stop. It's written in the law, and these people, it's become beyond pork. As in Carlsbad's leaking all over the place. Now, get this, in Idaho a few days ago. Now, a lot of people don't realize, right here above my house, Idaho, that's where the first nuclear accident happened in Atomic City. Okay, so you got both these senators here in the Western Utah, Wyoming, and Idaho have lost their mind. They're controlled by the Mormon Church 100%. The political process 100%, and they're all masquerade, hairsprayed liars. I mean, it's so corrupt. The politics here is so grotesquely corrupt in Wyoming, Idaho, and Utah. It's grotesque. Michael Lee, look him up. 1.1 million to the bad. House in foreclosure. That's legal tender in Utah. Why wasn't his wages being garnished? Everybody else's is in Utah. The debt collection hairspray capital of the world. Oh, J.P. Morgan gave him $600,000. By the way, his friend's living in the very house. He's going to live in the house. I mean, it's so corrupt. Well, the two senators from Idaho, Brasso from Wyoming, and her from Alaska. They all meet up in Idaho. Idaho's trying to they're trying to expand the Moxie fuel plants in Idaho, in Twin Falls. They're trying to expand them. Now, a lot of the people that are dying in Idaho end up in our hospital. I'm friends with a lot of them. One of the head state legislators there, we're talking about the debate that's going on there in the state legislature in Idaho. And I'm like, your wife's right here dying of leukemia, and you're going to support this? Are you crazy? You know, and I showed him all the statistics. You work in a nuclear plant, your chance of dying, or a facility, a chance of dying of leukemia is 16 times higher than the rest. And that's fact. That's undebatable fact. Leukemia, autism, it's undebatable fact, is nuclear fallout, period. Until this country wakes up and realizes and comes out of denial and realizes it. My work proves it over and over. The atomic veterans work, Chernobyl all proves it. It's purely nuclear fallout. All these problems are nuclear fallouts. They passed it anyway. Why? Because the Mormon Church stepped in. And the Mormon Church will sell their own firstborn right now for a freaking penny. Stair cycle right here. By the way, when I was in Brooklyn, here comes stair cycle driving right by. Why is that grotesque medical incinerator right here that Aaron Brockovich is suing? Because 49 other states won't let them in. The Mormons will do anything for money because they die of cancer. They've given up here. They don't, the cancer capital of the world. Why is nobody talking? God's will, God's will. Tim Chevalier. It's sick. So in Idaho, they're trying to expand it. So they come out with a statement. Now get this. These are people that are on the committee. Now Barbara Walker's head of the committee, but these are committee members. They said in the statement, now was this a Freudian slip? She said from Alaska, she said that WIP is closed. Now I've reported this in detail, now Dana Beautiful Girl's done some good work, but I reported on the 6th of February in detail. I'm always early. I'm always the first one on these things. That's what I do. That's the artist. That's what I do. No one's reported that it's been closed, and I reported the only way they can stop the plutonium is seal it. Now, why hasn't it been sealed? There's stuff from trinium in there. Because the Yucca Mountain's not built, because there's no answer for the waste. Now, she says that WIP is closed. WIP isn't closed, or is it closed? A salt truck? Now, they're hauling salt trucks in Idaho out to the geothermals. They're going down underneath there because it's so rural out there. You can see those videos I put up there. What do you think I'm at? What do you think I'm up to out there? Well, I'm fucking keeping track of these fuckers. That's Grassy Mountain that I'm at to. The filthy fucking dump that it is. Why do you think they put him in this fucking Timbuk 4 places? There's nobody there. That's why. There's nobody watching. Media sure ain't gonna do shit. That fourth branch that we relied on, fuck, they're gone over Oslo Vista. We're the media now. Fuck them. She says, well, we need to reopen Yucca Mountain? She says this. This is how naive and ignorant these people are. Yucca Mountain never opened. It's been built for a long time. By law? Yeah, and they says, oh, Obama signed this order. Every president signed that order. Every president since Nixon has signed that order. By law, it was supposed to be in there a long time ago. So I say shoot it into space now. I didn't used to. I used to argue with that. Put it in Yucca Mountain. But I agree, shoot it into space now because everybody says, oh, what a horrible option. Yeah, they're all fucking horrible options. Nuclear's horrible. That is the point that people do not understand. There's no fucking answer for the waste. Now, Livermore and Berkeley, of course they're going to say they have an answer for the waste. You know how many billions of dollars a year they get in pork? And you guys are all talking about what, this pork, that pork, corporate welfare dairy farmers, fucking pork on Baco. But the nuclear cartel, the money that they suck up, they create industries. We can't shut Carlsbad down. It's $5 billion to the economy. With the multiple effect, that ends up being $30 billion. They become, we need jobs. Yeah, you're going to die of leukemia at 50, but you'll have a job. And people, okay, yeah, I guess you're. Fuck you. Somebody says, hey, I'll give you a job, a really great job, a good job, which they lie about that, 70,000 when they give you 30. But you'll be dead at 50. You can saw off 30 fucking years of your lives. Miss out with your grandkids, miss out with other things, miss out whatever life is. A lot of guys say life doesn't even start till 50. Not me, fuckers. I'll take fucking life over fucking a job any day, and that's why I'll stay doing what I'm going to do. I'll stay the environmentalist, and I'll turn to, I've already had offers in the hedge fund. I met with a publicist on my book. They're like, Kevin, your story is so incredible, compelling. We want it. We want to write it, whatever. Well, who's the editor? I met with a woman editor, a powerhouse editor in New York City. And we talked, and they want this, and I said, no, fuck no. No, you're not going to feed this in your fucking mantra, in your fucking computers, because that's what literature is. Bill O'Reilly write another book. Helen Caldecott write another book. Noam Chomsky write about the same fucking, 22,000 people buy the same book over and over and over and over and over and over. They use computers. They have a matrix building that spits out certain words, and they feed it in. There's the problem. There's the wedge in the country. No. I told them, no. Fuck no. Well, we'll give you the, no, I don't want a fucking penny. No. I'm not going to do a photograph of Hillary. I'm not going to do a photograph of anybody. No, because I'm the real deal. I'm fucking real. I'm organic. I am real. I am a counter to the social engineers. Real. I'm not Noam Chomsky. I'm not even going to change my name. I'm going to use my real name, Kevin Dwayne Blanch, with a capital D for my dad, who was murdered. And my grandsons are all named after him. His fight will continue. Digger, the potato farmer. Watch that man be murdered. Watch him load fuck them. I'm going to fight him to the last breath I fucking breathe in an organic, real fuck. I don't give a fuck. They can take all their fucking money. Just like the government said on the so-called settlement. Oh, we can reopen the case, Kevin. They denied you 3 times because, his records burned in the fire. Yeah, sure they fucking did. Not a medal, not nothing. And all these fuckers are driving around in a car with a fucking Purple Heart on their fucking back. Like my dad used to go psycho about those guys. He would go psycho. Any person who really fucking hard moral combat in a war, they don't even talk about it. They drink whiskey until they're dead. We get home, look what they do to our veterans. The same assholes who wrapped up in a flag, beat the fucking drums, let's get them. The first kid killed right here in Utah. I grew up with his mom and dad. She's on KSL, those warmonger, drum-beating fucking, Foxconn fuckers. He died to fucking for defending patriotism. He defined freedom. Freedom prize. He died defending fucking freedom prize. They fucking attacked us. No. I'm like, girl, I run into her. You get down the road, you're going to realize what a murder his life, and you're not going to be wrapped up in no fucking flag. You fell for it. I ran into her not long ago. She's like, Kevin, you're so right. She's destroyed. You got to see her. Really beautiful woman. She's fucking a mess. That's what war does. That's what death does. That's what it does. It destroys families. It destroys people. These heroes, support groups. Bullshit. The heroes were the people that stood up and tried to fight against. The heroes were called Dink. The heroes were the people that stood up. Barack Obama, the only reason he is president, the only reason. I'll give it to him on this. I will give it to him. There was only a handful of senators. Everybody says, oh, Bush this, Bush that. Yeah, that evil piece of shit. Dick Cheney's bitch on a leash. Dick Cheney, that fucking, oh my God, how is he fucking standing alive? How is he not fucking, how is he not tried for war crimes? Where's the Hague? Congress voted for that war. The American populace was all for that fucking war. They fell for it. Not me. Not me. Barack Obama voted against the war. That's the only reason he beat Hillary in the primaries. Hillary's a warmonger. Hillary will fall down at the fucking drop of a cat. She's the fucking greatest fucking neocon, conservative fucking hardcore warmonger that ever fucking lived. Edward Abbey's words. And this has nothing to do with the Republican Democrat because they're both the same fucking evil, sickening cabal. Edward Abbey. Neoconservative, new conservative. This is clear back in the 70s. There's nothing new about them. They're as old as Babylon. And they're evil as hell. The Mormons are evil. Just because they put on a fucking hairspray and fucking, can you imagine your grandpa spending a fucking hour in front of the mirror putting on a hairspray? It's a fucking it's a facade. They wear their fucking hypocrites like a badge of courage. We know we should trick them today, honey. That's what they do here. I'm an investment guy. These investors here, I ran a hedge fund for a long time, and I'm going to run a hedge fund again. An environmental one, fucking anti-nuclear one. Companies that fucking try to shut them down. These guys here are all con men. They're church leaders, they wear hairspray, and they rob little old ladies for a living. And they get away with it here in Utah. It's the economy in Utah. It's not even, from these young missionaries who go on there, talk to lie when they don't know anything. It just spills over. Carl Rowe was BYU Law. All the Alito, BYU Law is staffers. Mike Lee, BYU Law. It's inbred into them to rob little old ladies and to fool and to trick. That's what we've turned into. The evangelical movement, all of it. Operation Foxconn, CNN, ABC, NBC. That is the economy of the United States. It's a masquerade party. Not white collar crime is legal. It's encouraged. It's who we are. It's who we are as a people. And I can prove it, and I'll prove it because the number one thing that people are unwilling to discuss now is not their sexuality, which it's always been that, always. It's they're dead. They're not, are they hypnotized? No. Some of them still are, but the vast majority, they're in denial. The real estate values in San Francisco, I own a house. Re-leverage. The usury-based economy has been a failure. Science fiction economics is a failure. Nuclear is the greatest failure in the history of humanity. 3/11/11 changed the world. Oh, it can't happen, won't happen, it can't happen. Written into law, all over the world, international law. UN backdoor, the IAEA, freaking the World Health Organization, all of it. They're a cabal. They're the greatest mob in human history. It's a mob. In Hairspray, it's the masquerade party mob, passive-aggressive mob. We know passive-aggressives are the most dangerous. The whole country's full of passive-aggressive. That's what the Hairspray is, the new wig. It's outrageous. People know. But they're leveraged to their house. They're afraid. That's why in California the truth doesn't come out. Every single marine biologist, how can they possibly participate? Because they're tied to their real estate values. And they know if the truth comes out of the Pacific Ocean, their real estate values fall. 0% interest rate, really? You know it was against the law in Fed charter? Against the law for the Fed to do QE1, QE2, and QE3 in 2002. When they changed the law, Paulson and Greenspan really are the two greatest terrorists in American history. Alan Paulson is Benedict Arnold on Falco. By far, he's the greatest terrorist in American history. What he did to this country, we've had a 0% interest rate. He should have been raising the rates when he was lowering it. He destroyed this country. When the dollar's cut in half, the dollar was the beacon light forever, the strength. Not anymore. It happened in 2003, 2006. It's no coincidence that the dollar fucking reeled when we invaded. The lie, the relationship. You're with your wife or you're with your family. And one's cheating on the other. Financially, sexually, whatever freaking agreement you have. The one's cheating on the other. And the lie just keeps, whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? The person committing the lie or the people? The person allowing to just participate with the lie. The person allowing to participate with the lie is the problem. Should have been stopped a long time ago. The New York Times, the Washington Post, those two evil fuckers, CNN, Foxconn, MSNBC, evil, phony fuckers. They're all a fucking facade. The count, all 7 groups of voting blocks that went down and counted the vote in Florida. All 7. Gore won. That scumbag, weasel, phony. To talk about a fraud, an untruth. I'll tell you, he's the untruth. He tried to rape. He tried to rape, and he got away with it. Not one, but 2 different massage therapists in San Francisco. One comes forward and everybody says, oh, that can't be true. Then another one says, oh, he did the same thing to me 4 months ago. Aaron Burr's bloodlines, that fraud. But he did win. So the New York Times is due to come out 9/20/01. They say, right now, they'll tell you, and this is Hedges and Klein. That's why I go off on Hedges and Klein. They knew this. They knew it, but yet they refused to report it. Oh, it was in poor taste because of 9/11. Really? Really? So they buried it in November on page 17. Just like Megan Rice's sentencing. I mean, think about it. Megan Rice is New York City. Buried it. Megan Rice's sentencing made, I think, a little teeny box on page 9, page 12, I think, in the New York Times. No media there. Shirtwaist fire when I'm standing there in New York. I hear all these so-called anti-social engineers, all this so-called alternative media, RT, all of them. Were they there? Not one of them there. None of them. They weren't there. They live there. Fuck, I mean, get on the subway for $2.25. Round trip. 2-minute walk, for God's sakes. A lot of people live down there now. Come out of your apartment, walk 3 blocks up there, there it is. No, because they're like, no, that might really make a difference. Might wake up America, those girls jump to their death. We might put back tariffs. We might start enforcing usury laws. We might start enforcing antitrust. Oh, no, we like it just the way it is because we're war profiteers. All of them, including fucking Snowden. I used to be a fan of Snowden, but not anymore. He's not going to dangle a carrot in front of me. We'll continue this conversation on Thursday. It's my birthday Thursday. I got some special things for because I never thought I'd make that day in the hospital a couple of years ago. And we'll dedicate that show and everybody to these people, these beautiful souls who passed the cancer that Fukushima killed by the thousands in the United States. Hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands of people in the United States have already died from Fukushima.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Boomgate, 311, whatever.